بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
One of the greatest scholars of Islam in the modern era, she just passed away in Japan. She was a Japanese convert to Islam. I think she died last week or the week before. She, as I recall, she was a professor at Kyoto University.
Really? She was a
Muslim.
scholar, you said?
She's a scholar of Islam.
Wow, subhanAllah.
Islam and the minimalism of Japanese traditional culture mix very well. And some of the greatest Muslim scholars of our era that are hidden gems are coming out of Japan. The reason we don't know about them, again, is that, that whole verse in the Quran about, humankind made you from one soul into many nations and tribes so that you might come to know one another. We're kind of bad at that. We got to spend more time learning about each other. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hopefully this is what this podcast is about. I'll try to bring some on, man. Some Japanese scholars, Muslim scholars.
We should totally do it.
Inshallah, I will.
Yeah.
If I can get my hands on one. Sounds so weird.
Wasn't going to say anything.
I got to cut that one out. How about what is the Indonesian model? Right. I think this is a good segue.
So we talked about Nahdlatul Ulama, everything it did to protect Islamic law and Islamic philosophy and whatnot in the 17,000 islands of what was then the Dutch East Indies and now is Indonesia. They also played an important role in the creation of the modern day Indonesian constitution and the Panch Sila policy. Panch meaning five, Sila meaning principles. The five principles policy, which basically, to sum that up, the Indonesian model focuses on the pluralism of the human spirit. Islam is a recognized religion, so is Hinduism, so is Buddhism, so is Christianity, so on and so forth. And the reason why the Nahdlatul Ulama, the Renaissance of the Scholars Organization, pushed for this to be part of Indonesian law is because they valued the lessons learned from philosophy by Hindus, by philosophy by Buddhists, by the innate good works that Christianity insists upon through forgiveness and mercy, and the value of Shiaism and of Sunni Islam all together. And so the Indonesian model is built around the idea that really, from Surah Kafirun, right, to you your way and to me mine. All civilizations can live, all religious cultures and peoples can live in faithful unity while being different at the same time. We're stronger together because we learn from one another. That's really what the Indonesian model is, and it's been fantastically successful all the way up until the modern era. Indonesia has a lot of challenges with its past history with military takeovers and dictators like Sukarno and Suharto, its challenges with the abuse of secularized nationalism as well. All kinds of problems have emerged. But the one constant has always been extreme tolerance and extreme acceptance. And we're lucky here in Maryland to have one of the two, I believe there are two, maybe three now, Indonesian majority mosques in the country. And it is one of the most pluralistic mosques in the region, strict, decently honest interpretation of Islamic law in the Hanafi tradition. But the people who worship there are Ethiopian, Eritrean, Pakistani, Indian, Indonesian, Arab, non-Arab, Turk, irreligious Persian. Everybody comes through their doors and everybody is welcome as part of the Panch Sila policy, as part of that idea of pluralism. It took an island country with 17,000 islands to help us see that beauty come into play. And I think that's something we should be really proud of. That's the Indonesian model in a nutshell.
And you think that would be a way to kind of deter the nationalism that's been happening? Yeah,
I think so. There's a poet from the Punjab whose name, Bulleh Shah Kasuri, who I think 500-600 years ago wrote a very beautiful poem that Indians and Pakistanis have turned into a very lyrical song today. And the poem goes something like this from the Punjabi: neither in the mosque nor in the temple, neither in fire nor in filth, neither in water nor in cleanliness, neither am I here, neither am I there, neither am I a Turk, neither am I a Hindu, neither am I a Jew, neither am I an Arab. Oh, Bulleh Shah, who am I? But another translation of that Punjabi, that last part is, not even Bulleh Shah knows who I am.
Who's Bulleh Shah?
Bulleh Shah is the poet who wrote the poem. And so God is speaking to Bulleh Shah and taunting him for the tribalisms of humanity. Now, we're Muslims. We all believe in the one true faith. we submit to God. But the tribalisms that developed in India 600 years ago, when immigrants from the Turkish regions of the Muslim world and the Arab regions and the Persian regions were moving in, and Jewish merchants and traders were coming in from Iran and Turkey to settle in the southern part of the Mughal Empire. And all these cultures, India was the greatest immigrant society in the world for the USA. It was the largest middle class in the world before the USA. All of these are coming together, and the issue became, how do we have tolerance and pluralism? Yeah, it would benefit Muslims if we thought in those terms. I learn every day from a close friend of mine, Rabbi Alana Suskin, more about Islam by her commitment to working with people who are different than her. Her activism in helping to free, behind the scenes, Adnan Syed, a practicing Muslim from Maryland prisons, her work in Annapolis for poor, her being arrested more than once for Palestinian human rights. That speaks to me of what Islam is, the altruism of Islam. And so we got to learn from that. That pluralism is helpful to us in America and across the world. We should be learning from our Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist neighbors the best in all peoples. And then we should be emanating that, because Islam is supposed to be the best of all human experience, simplified to us in one book by God's great mercy. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Beautifully put, man.
Thanks, man.